Hello, collective. Let's get a reading for you. Who's missing the collective right now? Spirit, who's missing the collective right now? Whoa, it flew out. The Hangman reverse. Whoever you're not talking to. The person that's missing you is the one that was afraid to sacrifice whatever they were afraid to sacrifice to be with you, to even try to see this through. The one who gave up on you. That's who's missing you. The one where you felt like there was a lack of control. What I mean by that is, it's like you felt like nothing you did seemed like it changed their mind. It's like you overperformed for love, but it wasn't on purpose. That one. They're fucked up right now. Yeah. We have the Six of Wands. They're watching you. They're stalking your socials. And listen, y'all, I'm that person that, like, it's like an FBI agent. Like, I can look anything up and there won't even be a trail. Yeah. So even if you're telling yourself, no, they're not watching, they are. And I know you feel it. Okay. For some of you, whether they do it on purpose or not, sometimes they send watcher spirits or just watchers to, like, just keep an eye on you kind of thing. But overall, they do watch you through their phone. I'm seeing a screen, so they watch you. With this Six of Wands here, there's a lot of ego, because from the perspective of the writer, there's like a lot of pride, right? But this is also someone who regrets not going public with you. That's like a huge regret. Like introducing you to their important people, family, close friends. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. This is a jealous person. And for those of you who are curious, this Six of Wands card is a Leo card, and that's speaking very loudly to me. And then the Hangman reverse is a heavy water card, Neptune. And the Queen of Pentacles reversed is, that's water, earth. This Hangman reverse still has something to say. I'm told the bottom of the deck, so let's look at the bottom. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to clarify that. Okay. Told two from the bottom. The very first one on the bottom is the Ten of Pentacles. The person that's missing you is the one that missed out on the opportunity to build a family with you. That was something that you guys talked about. And the Page of Cups, the one that is missing you is the one that, excuse me, throat chakra, that didn't communicate their love, because we have the Page of Cups here. And it hasn't communicated an apology. They're extremely sensitive, but like in the worst way. It's something you used to admire, but you came to a realization where you're just like, you make yourself the victim a lot. Okay. Spirit, please clarify this Hangman reversed. Thank you. The World. If you're wondering why they haven't popped up yet, is because they're afraid that you're done with them. Thank you, Spirit. And the Emperor reversed, because not only are they stubborn, they feel this is an extremely, like, it's an Emperor reverse, so it's like an unhealed emperor, okay? And this has like a stench of domination on it, so they feel like they don't have control over the narrative anymore. They don't have control over how you view them. They don't have control over, like, because I'm hearing really loudly, which is crazy because it's a whisper, but it's a loud whisper. What I'm hearing is it's like they can't trick you anymore. They can't fool you anymore. It's like you see right through them. And what they're realizing is through your absence that they're considering it, okay? They haven't settled on the idea yet, but they're basically saying to themselves, maybe they weren't naive and maybe they were just allowing me to do it and I fucked up because they really cared about me. Yeah, this is an unhealed emperor. I'm told one more for that Hangman reversed. The Knight of Wands. Yeah. That Knight of Wands is clarifying that Hangman, that standstill energy, that stuck energy. That Knight of Wands is like a lot of sexual energy, a lot of adult energy, but it's also this impulsiveness to just pop up and just like, hey babe, but they want to pop up and act like nothing happened. Like a Knight of Wands is very, very impulsive energy, very passionate energy. But they also, I hate to say this, but they touch themselves a lot to you with this card. Okay. We're going to do now, whoa. I'm sorry. I'm very tired. I'm afraid that I'm getting sick again. I've spent most of the year. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. What was I going to say? We're going to do Spirit, what does the collective need to know moving forward for September? No, I heard for this eclipse. Okay. Their lunar eclipse. I don't have my stuff to min. Okay. Thank you. Spirit, what do you need the collective to know regarding this lunar? Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. This feels really important. We have Temperance. And we have the Star reversed, okay? So I need you to understand something about Temperance. And I just learned this myself, right? Because I'm constantly trying to understand the cards better. So yes, Temperance is balance, no question. Like, period. It's just the simplest meaning. But something was taught to me today, and it just opened up my mind. Do you see this angel? Let me see if I can make it. Okay. The angel has 1 foot in water and 1 foot on land. We're going to pause right there. Spirit is asking you to be able to exist in 2 places but still remain yourself, okay? The balance that Spirit is asking you to have is in your internal world, because Spirit is saying to you with this lunar eclipse, and this lunar eclipse is about breaking cycles, that a cycle that's been going on since 2024, but also for some of you since 2020. But essentially this lunar eclipse is about breaking serious cycles, like life altering, breaking chains type of thing. Okay, cool. We have the foundation. Spirit is saying to you, I need you to be able to hold 2 truths at the same time. I need you to have balance within yourself. I need you to incorporate your shadow self. I need you to incorporate the parts of you that you hide. I need you to show up completely. And even though for you that means having 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water, so be it if that's who you are. And what I mean by that is a lot of you, it's going to be a clean split because it's a collective, but it feels like the majority of you, like 90%, are so deeply tapped in and you downplay it. And Spirit is saying, stop doing that. you're minimizing your power and your strength. Show up in the 3D as the divine, sovereign, I belong to my God being that you are. And I'm hearing very loudly, it needs to start with you not doubting yourself and you not playing small, and it'll snowball from there in the best way. But that's the key element, because I know I can hear Spirit saying they're gonna ask, where do I start? Though, okay, which leads me into what I learned about this card today, which blew me away. So as you see, the angel, this divine beautiful angel, is pouring from one cup into another. Okay, what the teacher was talking about was we have two solid concepts, what's in this cup and what's in this cup. And as the angel is pouring, finding the divine balance between the two, there is now a third element. The third element that is created is separate from the two cups. It's what's actually being poured, right? And I know that's a very like abstract way of thinking, but boy, does it deeply resonate with me. Because if it were as simple as just two containers simply holding, we wouldn't even be on this conversation. There needs to be a third element. And that third element is acceptance, is what I heard. Purpose. Harmony. You need to, for some of you, you need to find your meaning, and some of you have your meaning and you need to like go all in. And for those of you who are, this is for all of you, but for those of you who feel particularly lost, I'm hearing follow the whimsy. So you need to follow inspired thought. If you've been thinking about learning to drum and you've put it off because you're like, who has the time in this economy? Reasonable, that's fair. But it's like nagging. This is a quiet nagging, a quiet whisper. A close friend of mine says the universe will whisper until it yells, kind of thing. So you need to follow the whimsy. Go buy some drumsticks and practice on books. You need to follow inspired thought. You've been having this repeating nagging thought like, oh, I should go running by the local trail alongside the river. Maybe it's a paved trail, maybe it's not. And you just keep putting it off. And you're just like, oh, but I don't have running shoes. I don't have. Great. Just go. Just go. Walk it. Walk it. Do the what is it? I think it's part of the Olympics where walking is in there, but it's like power walking. These are just examples. So Spirit is telling you balance is here, but you are the third element. So you need to incorporate all elements of yourself, unlike Carl Jung, where Carl Jung and Freud split is Freud, and this is a very elementary explanation. Freud talks about the subconscious being like this, like, think of it as a basement, and it's just like this darkness, and like it shows up in dreams, and it shows up in like, that's why there's like the Freud slip of the tongue. It kind of like oozes out of you when you least expect it. But Carl Jung, he viewed the subconscious as an entire, if we're still using the concept of a house, it's not just a basement, there's an entire underground city, right? Empire. And what you continue to not pull out of the subconscious will continue to plague you. And I think the best example, the simplest example, would be this tarot channel. I've been able to do divination, reading, probably since I was 8. Gaslit myself, people around me gaslit me, etc., etc. I've always had a call towards tarot. This conversation came up with someone I met out in the wild because I was able to read for her without cards. And I messaged her after and I was like, hey, I was being sincere if you did want like a free personal reading, because like a lot came up. Like there was a lot that spirit delivered, and that I'm the vessel. Um, and it was not the environment, so we couldn't go as deep, even though we went very deep. So I had offered, because I was at a party, is what it was, for my birthday. I had offered, like, outside of this environment, if you want to revisit this, we can. I circled back and I was like, I know, to kind of like social protocol is to not follow up, but I wanted you to know I was sincere. Like, if you would like me to pull cards for you, I'm more than happy to. Beautiful, beautiful experience, connection. And I say that to say, she goes, well, what's the difference between pulling cards and what you did? And I said, the cards are a tool. They hone in on the signal. And she wasn't understanding. She's like, but you do that already. And I was like, correct. I don't need the cards. I'm of service, and the cards are of service. So two beings together, right? Two people together, because the cards are alive, can have, again, this beautiful temperance, two separate beings coming together, creating something new, right? A third element. And essentially that's my relationship with the cards, and the cards relationships with me. The same with my stones. I'm extremely into gems and crystals are gems. The proper word for them is gemstones. But I had clarified to her, I was like, I can do it without the cards. The cards are a tool. It hones in on the signal. And it hit me. She's like, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, yeah, I've been doing tarot since January. I'm new to tarot. I'm obsessed with tarot, so I've been watching tarot forever, and I listened for the cards, and I would try to, like, what's that? Okay, what's that mean? But not the way that I'm trying to educate myself currently. Not the way that I keep my very, very personal decks on my nightstand, and I do that on purpose so it can absorb my energy. I carry them in my purse. I take them from my nightstand and they go in my purse when I'm out and about. Because I need them to understand, or I hope they understand, that I consider you an extension of me. I consider you a part of me. I know that you are separate in your own, but I need you to understand that that's how much I care about you. I want you close, right? And the way I read, you wouldn't think that I started in January. But the only reason I started the channel is because this following inspired thought. It was to the point where spirit was like, bitch, we're used to you arguing, but you always do as you're told. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm over here, and anyone who's watched me from the very, very start can attest to this. My confidence has grown on screen. I still feel like there's a lot to work on in terms of internal, like, confidence being witnessed. That's something I'm consciously working on. But I'm gonna tell you right now, from January to now, lots of conversations with spirit, like, why are y'all telling me to do this? I don't even like attention. Why are y'all telling me to do this? It hurts. And the only reason I have continued is being of service. I know that's my purpose, for one of my purposes for reincarnating. But every time you guys share with me, like, wow, not only did that resonate, I needed that, or wow, that was eerie, you were spot on, I wouldn't have that ability to experience that third element, me, right? The other element, which is like the cards, and then creating its third element of this experience, right? That is mutually of service. I'm of service to you guys, and you guys are of service to me, right? But it's all through inspired whimsy, inspired thought. So that's really, really critical for you with this cycle breaking lunar eclipse. Then the very next card is the Star card. It's plain and simple. It's a lack of faith card. I know this year has been hard on you. It's been hard on all of us. I know the last couple years since 2020, I'm seeing 2 points, 2020 and 2024. Okay. So yeah, I know it's been brutal, but something I heard recently, which I already knew, but I like the way the young lady worded it. She was saying that when you've reached the point of everything falling apart, that's when the phoenix turns to ashes and restarts. When you've reached the point where you feel like you are so discouraged and disconnected from reality, that's when everything is restarting. But you have to be willing to exist in that place but still proceed, creating the third element. You have to have 1 foot on land and 1 foot in water. You have to have, I'm hearing very loudly, 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the spiritual waters, because due to your lack of faith, you gaslight yourself a lot. And despair is like yelling from this card to me. And frankly, the little that I'm choosing to like touch on and perceive in the ether, that's fair. That's a fair motherfucking word. Just discouraged. But you have to choose, okay? Exactly. The Two of Cups reversed came out, okay? Let's move away from this being a like romantic card. We are going to treat it like a love card, because the cups are usually, I mean, in some contexts they represent time. Okay, just love, okay? It's my analytical brain. We started with the Two of Cups. Spirit is telling you what you need to do. Spirit is saying, we acknowledge you. It makes sense that you've been in despair. But because you've been in despair, instead of tempering and finding balance, you're just simply pouring out the 2 cups. That's unacceptable is what I'm hearing. Not only do you have a lot of sovereignty and authority, so much is expected of you in the spirit realm, and I know you know that. Because on this Two of Cups reversed, there's almost this, how dare you whisper to it? How dare you pour out your 2 cups? You're not even entertaining the third element. Because like with this card, you see how there's the symbol here between them. Not only are you pouring out the 2 cups, you're pouring out this third element, is what Spirit is speaking to me. And this third element is a creation of its own. Do you see that? It's so far beyond. It starts small and expands. So I believe that's the 2 snakes, and expands even more to knowledge and even more to sovereignty of the wings. So Spirit is saying to you, like, not only are you not holding the 2 cups, you are surrendering the third element that it would create if you would just find harmony. But it's not, I think harmony is too simple of a word. Carl Jung is truly the best example where there's an acceptance of self. So it's an internal harmony. Like, stop projecting yourself. Something I learned. I knew this. I'm one of those people that like I know kind of thing. In that realm of what I just said, I've always seen us as souls to have between 7 to 8 different bodies. Sometimes 6, depending on the person. If they're like especially a young soul, new to this earth doesn't mean young soul, like a truly newly created soul. But when I was learning today, I'm constantly trying to learn, guys. When I was learning today that in Egyptian mythology, they believe that there's 9 bodies. And it was quite interesting to learn about. So I was like, oh, okay, let's hear this out. And they named all the ones that, again, just through knowing that I know, because I've never like deep dive on it, they named all the ones I was aware of. And they made a good point at the end of the video. It was like speaking as if the Egyptian god was speaking, so it was very clever the way they set up the video. But the Egyptian god was essentially saying, in Western culture, you spend your whole lives trying to hide these different sides of you, your spiritual body, your spiritual sovereignty, your spiritual shadow. And it's like you're supposed to witness all of them, which Carl Jung talks about incorporating all of them, right? And I think, again, just on the element of like knowing that I know, I think it's both. I think there's times where all need to be incorporated, like a true awakening of the self. I think there's times, depending on what's happening, where one needs to hold the hand of the other. I know there's been plenty of times where I personally need to hold the hand of my shadow, just so that I can truly, truly do more than witness, but merge. Like, and if you think of holding someone's hand, you're not merged in the terms of like you're one, but you're merged in the sense of like, I hold you the way you're holding me, kind of thing, right? So I think context matters, but I say that to say, when I say harmony, I mean everything that I just got done explaining to you. And RIP to my sister. I just got chills. She said, people who are on that spiritual shit, you know who's faking, because they're all talking about love and light and burn sage, and it's like a hippie kind of like vibe to it. And she was like, I'll never forget it because she got me through so many dark times. I'm trying not to cry. She's like, you know, those people aren't doing the work, because if you're doing the real spiritual work, unbecoming to become your truest self, not even become because you're always there, but I always think of it as, and I heard this quote once, where God had to break you because you were rebuilt with parts that weren't yours to hold. I think of it as a vase. Like, think of the China vases where they're like white with blue art. Think of it that way, but I think of it as a bowl, essentially, like a massive bowl. And I just see God taking it and just smashing it on the ground, because I was molded through childhood and through life with pieces that didn't belong there. And then there's that Japanese art of putting things back together with gold. So God's over here like, there's a song by the artist Aniko, and it's called Transcendental. Oh God, I'm bilingual, so the more tired I get, it's like the more English I forget. Fuck. Transcendental, whatever. I'll put it in the comments. And one of the lyrics is something like, oh, that's what it is. She said, you can call me mad, but I'd rather you call me insane, because I had to go insane to disassemble that. So I'm not asking for you to just harmonize all these elements of you. That is extremely overwhelming and extremely set yourself up for failure. But I, as a person, Jessica, and Spirit are witnessing you, especially with this eclipse, and saying, if you proceed with this lack of faith, with this all-consuming despair and disassociation, not disassociation, that's not what I'm hearing, disconnect from who you know you are. There's another quote I heard today. God, guys, I'm constantly learning. Oh man, normally I can reference things, but these are all super recent, because normally I repeat, so that like repeat what I've learned that I like, so that I can actually quote the individuals. One of my biggest things is for me to say, like, don't believe me, go look it up, and I'll give like the resource. But the quote, even though I can't quote the fella now, he said, not becoming who you know you're supposed to be is its own form of sin. I've always known that in my soul too. Spirit is saying to you, if you stay this course, what you're surrendering, what you're giving up, you can't even conceive. Let that sink in. So what I have for you guys, also with this lunar eclipse, it's pivotal for everybody because there's going to be roaches. That's what I call exes. There's going to be roaches coming back. There's going to be a lot happening. And yeah, they're tests from the universe, but they're not really tests. It's more like, are you ready? Have you changed? And the ones who aren't pivoting, you're going to be stuck in a cycle for quite a bit. And the ones who are pivoting, and you're like, never again, you're going to be changed forever. The timelines have already jumped. The decision is on you. Free will is real. Okay? But I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me. Please take care of your mental health. That's a big one I'm hearing. Be alone if you need to. Be around people if you need to. If you're tired, get some rest. Please take care of your mental and emotional health. That's super loud to me since I started the second half of the reading.